Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're not just going to talk about communication. Nope, we're going to build a playbook to help you manage it like the truly strategic asset it is. We're going to break down the disciplined, formal process that, honestly, separates the absolute best project managers from everyone else.
So let's start with just one single, really powerful number, 90%. Yeah, 90. Some foundational research from the Project Management Institute shows that this is how much time top-tier project managers spend just on communication. Think about that for a second. It's not some soft skill you do on the side. It's not a secondary task. It is the main function of the role. It's the engine that makes all the other work possible.
So here's how we're going to break it all down today, kind of like a consultant's report. First, we're going to look at the core of it all, the communications engine. Then we'll get tactical and dive right into the execution playbook. After that, we'll see how you turn all that potential noise into a clear signal. And finally, we'll close the loop with the feedback system that's going to drive real, continuous improvement.
All right, Section 1, the communications engine. Look, if you want to master that 90%, you absolutely have to stop thinking about communication as just a bunch of random, disconnected actions. You've got to start managing it like a system. And you know what? The PMBOK guide gives us the perfect way to think about it, this communications engine. So let's see how this thing actually works.
Okay, this is the official definition right from the PMBOK guide, and I'm telling you every single word here is critical. Just notice the language. It's all about a life cycle, collection, creation, distribution, all the way to ultimate disposition. So this isn't just about shooting off emails or having a few meetings. It's a whole system for controlling the entire life of your project's information, making sure it flows efficiently and effectively between you and all your stakeholders. It's all about being deliberate at every single stage.
So what you're looking at here is the complete flow for managing communications. It's a really simple but powerful sequence. You plan, you manage, and you monitor. And we're zeroing in on that gear right in the middle, manage communications. This is the spot where your strategic plan becomes real, tactical action. It's the bridge between having a good idea and actually getting it done, before we check on it in the monitoring phase.
Okay, Section 2, the execution playbook. So if managed communications is the engine, well, this section is the operator's manual. We're shifting gears from the what to the tactical how, the specific tools and techniques you're going to use to keep that engine humming at peak performance.
To make this super actionable, we've organized all the tools and techniques into three main pillars. Now, in the consulting world, we'd call this a MECE framework. That's M-E-C-E. It just means they're mutually exclusive and collectively exhaustive. Or, in plain English, everything fits neatly into one of these three buckets with zero overlap. And those buckets are your skills, your methods, and your systems. Let's break them down.
So these three pillars, they all work together as one integrated system. Your skills, that's your personal toolkit, right? How well you write a message, how well you listen, how you present things. Then you have your methods, which are the channels you pick to get that message out. Are you sending an email, holding a meeting, or maybe updating a dashboard? And finally, you've got your systems. These are the platforms that make those methods possible. Things like your project management software, your email servers, or a shared knowledge base. You can't just be great at one. They all depend on each other.
And this, right here, is where so many projects go completely off the rails. It's about choosing the right method for the message. Interactive communication, like meetings or calls, that's for your complex, high-touch issues where you need real-time feedback and debate. Push communication, like an email, gets information out there, but you can't just assume it was understood. And pull is for making huge amounts of info available without flooding everyone's inbox. You would never use a push email for a delicate negotiation, and you wouldn't call an interactive all-hands meeting just to distribute the annual report. Matching the method to the message, that is a core PM skill.
And this brings us to that final pillar, the systems. Your project management information system, the PMIS, is really the backbone here. It covers everything from your fancy project management software to the simple email and conferencing tools your team uses every day. But what's really crucial is that this pillar also includes project reporting. And that's the formal process of taking raw data and turning it into information that's perfectly tailored for different stakeholders. It's how you build a single source of truth and make sure everyone, from a C-level exec to a junior developer, gets exactly the information they need in the format they need it.
All right, Section 3, turning noise into signal. So you're running the playbook. You've got the right skills, you're using the right methods, you have the systems in place. So what? What's the result? Well, the result is you stop creating noise, that endless stream of alerts and updates that everybody just learns to ignore. Instead, you start producing a clear, valuable signal. So let's define what that signal actually looks like.
I absolutely love this quote from the PMBOK Guide because it totally reframes the entire purpose of reporting. See, the goal isn't just to inform people. It's to generate decisions, actions, or awareness. Every single report, every dashboard, every presentation you create should have one of those 3 goals baked into it. And if it doesn't, it's just noise. That's the ultimate test of whether your communication is actually effective.
And these are the tangible things that carry that signal, what the pros call project communications artifacts. We're talking about things like performance reports, updates on deliverable status, how you're tracking against the schedule, and what costs look like. Each one of these is a direct product of that managed communications process. They're the structured, value-added information that turns all that raw project data into something a stakeholder can actually understand and, more importantly, act on. Okay, final section, the feedback loop. Let's bring this all home and close the loop, because great communication is never a one-way street. It's a system that learns and gets better. Every report you send, every meeting you have, it all creates a data point. And the final step to mastering this whole process is capturing that data and feeding it back into your project management system to make the entire project smarter.
This is that feedback loop in action. Let me make it really concrete for you. Picture this. You're in a status meeting, and a stakeholder casually mentions a new dependency you hadn't thought of. That piece of communication doesn't just vanish when the meeting ends. No, you immediately go and update the risk register. That action is the feedback loop. When you resolve a conflict over email, you update the issue log. When you find a brilliant new way to show your data, it goes straight into the lessons learned register. You're literally turning conversations into structured data, making your projects smarter and more resilient with every single update.
So, here's the real bottom line. Managed communications isn't just some process you have to follow. It's a discipline. It's the whole set of skills, methods, and systems that puts you firmly in control of your project's narrative. It's what transforms that huge time commitment, that 90%, from a potential problem into your most powerful strategic asset. Because the conversation is happening every second, whether you manage it or not. The only question is, who's in charge?